Welcome to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. I'm Carrie Hawker-Diaz.
And I'm David Osmond. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for taking a listen. I'm glad you are, because I get to introduce you to someone that's special to me. I'm a huge fan of hers because, well, first, we're related, so I kind of nepotism has
Wait,
to
you
be
have relatives?
alive and well.
You have a relative
few,
or two?
But she is awesome. I have a lot of first cousins on the Osmond side, a lot of boy cousins, actually. I think there's 57 of us.
Dang.
And only of the 57, there's only 11 girls.
Oh, interesting.
So the ratio isn't, it's skewed, dominant of the boys, but I get to sit down with my cousin Amy Osmond. Cook is her name, and she's brilliant. She is just an awesome person.
Well, of course, because she's an Osmond. So
well, I wouldn't say no. In spite of being an Osmond, she's brilliant. Has a PhD in communications, and she was America's Junior Miss back in the day when she was a teenager, and has lived an amazing life. But also in the tech world, she's brilliant. Smartest person in the room, and she's dealt with so many things on a communication side. So she's been chief marketing officer for a lot of different companies, and now co-founder of this company called Fullcast. And so she had a lot to say about the latest updates and events with AI technology and how it's integrating into our lives, where the future of it is for just everyday life use and also in the marketing world. So this is a really fascinating conversation.
Well, she's phenomenal. I can't wait to get to know her a little bit more and hear more about her company. Should we just go right to it?
She's awesome. Her dad is my Uncle Wayne, who recently passed, and she's the oldest in that family and has a lot of perspective of what it was like growing up Osmond, but also getting amazing education and then starting these tech companies here in the Silicon Slopes of Utah. Yeah, take a listen to this, and I think you'll be highly impressed.
Very cool. Let's give it a listen.
Hey, what's up, everybody? David Osmond here. Welcome to Fresh Off the Set. Thank you for joining me today. This is a special one for me because I don't always get to sit down with someone that I admire and respect as much as this person, but also someone that is as close to me as they are. This is a family member. This is my cousin sitting down with me today. Her name is Amy Osmond Cook, and she's brilliant. Somehow she got not just all the brains, but all the beauty and all the coolness of, of the genetics in our family. But she's so awesome, and I got a lot of questions for her about the tech world because she's got a PhD. She's a seasoned marketing executive and communications expert. She's been recognized for innovative strategies in technology, healthcare, and real estate marketing. And she does it all. It's awesome. Co-founder of a company called Fullcast. She's also the chief marketing officer for that, the go-to-market cloud, and has a proven track record helping multiple high-growth companies move from Series A through acquisition. She was with Simplus as CMO, Thology Watch as CMO, Onboard CMO. I mean, just keeps going down the list. Also led Stage Marketing as her company as CEO for over 15 years. She builds companies. She makes acquisitions. She does exits. She's brilliant in the business side of things with a PhD in communications, and went to University of Utah, authored numerous articles, books, BYU, University of Utah. She's all over the place and has been recognized here in Utah with so many accolades and successes. Really admire her, and I'm so grateful to sit down to ask her about what it's like to be in business chief seat, to run companies, but also how did you get there? I got a lot of questions for you. Welcome to the show, Amy Osmond Cook. Thank you for being with me.
Dave, thank you so much for having me. That was way too kind of an introduction, and you are just the absolute best, and I love you so much.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today. I just took way too long. But your credits, go before you, speak for you, and you've accomplished so much. Thank you for sitting down. This is a thrill, and this is a privilege.
A thrill and a privilege for me, too. This is so fun.
We were neighbors growing up on Osmond Lane, next door neighbors. So going from being little kids, just like playing night games and toilet papering and being just crazy, for you to go to be where you are, you've had a crazy journey in your life, how you got from A to Z and so much more to come still. Are you living your best life, and did you forecast what you're doing right now when you were just a little kid?
Oh, that's such a good question, Dave. First of all, living next door to you growing up was one of the highlights of my life. Truly. Do you remember when you guys got in trouble for throwing apples down the hill onto the barn, and the neighbor came up on his four-wheeler, and we would do that?
It wasn't just apples. We were rolling pumpkins down and hitting. I just remember getting trouble over and over. Yeah, one of 8 boys. We find ways to just cause problems. albums.
I would go over to your house and something was always happening. Like one day I walked over and you guys were trying to do the gallon challenge and drink a whole gallon of milk. And then I walked over and you guys were doing like slip and slides on top of your trampoline. And it was just always such a party. And it was like you, Dave, and your brothers are a huge piece of my happy childhood.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
I hope. Thank you. That means a lot.
So
but we look across the fence from us, and you and your brothers, your sisters, like you guys also got into classical music, and so we were doing like the boy band thing, the pop music and the dancing and the Running Man. But you're over there doing legit Beethoven and classical Vivaldi and doing classical music. You were training a ton. So music, you have a foundation in that realm as well. Your dad,
Yes.
my dad, brothers, my dad's Alan Osmond, yours is Wayne Osmond, rest his soul, just recently passed this year, was the life of the party. He knew how to throw a party. He
did
awesome.
know how to throw a party until he got worn out. And our other cousin Jason, one of his favorite memories was, my dad would just be like so fun and loves everyone, right? But then he would like, he's kind of an introvert at heart. And so he would go into this little teeny tiny closet before the shows. And Jason, as a little kid, would knock on the door to get a piece of candy from Uncle Wayne. And my dad would open the door just a crack and have the piece of candy come outside the door with his hand, like not even his face showing.
Creepy dude. Want some candy?
It was so much fun.
Your dad was so funny. And I think about him almost every single day because there's a one-liner, Wayne Osmond one-liner that happens everywhere. I think I just used it like this morning. I'm so old. I remember when the Dead Sea was only sick.
That's one of my favorites.
Just random one.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
If you feel like dying, go to the living room.
He is awesome, and we miss him dearly. And I think that DNA also got passed down for just the creativity, the fun, and the smarts, the intellect. It's just really been cool to watch your career, you as a person.
Dave.
Back in the day, you were America's Junior Miss. You won that and playing violin and all that. That was when you were a teenager, right?
That was when I was 17. I remember when I was 6 years old, Dave, you guys were out playing next door and I was swinging on the swings and on the side of my house. And I was walking back into the house and all of a sudden this absolute fear came over me. And I thought, it is 1982. I am 6 already. How am I going to get everything done that I want to in my life? And that, I don't know why,
You remember that moment vividly,
that was
though.
one of my foundational light bulb moments of my childhood. And I remember thinking, there's just so much I want to do. I just got to get started. And so I became, very I had so much fun, but also became very driven is the right word. And then when you asked me an earlier question about, was this part of my plan? It really wasn't. When I was a freshman in college, my goal in life was to get married and have a lot of babies.
Yeah.
Like that was my whole goal. And that was like the ideal for me. And I was so excited about it. Then, I got married and then unfortunately got divorced after 5 years with 2 little kiddos, and kids got to eat, right? So then I was like, oh my gosh,
Got to figure it out.
Got to figure it out. So I went back to school. I got my PhD. I thought maybe that would be, being a professor would be a good flexible lifestyle for kids. And then
PhD in communications?
In communication, yep. Then I got remarried, and my husband, Jeff, had this great job at HP. It was very stable, and then he moved into real estate equity, and then he got a job at Lehman Brothers.
Awesome.
1 month before they went bankrupt.
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything. So
Great gig for the month.
It was a great month for him. So, then here we are again, because I thought once Jeff and I got married, I was like, okay, good, my dream is here. Me, having little kids. And then Jeff lost his job. And because of our custody arrangement, we couldn't move, and he couldn't find a job in the area. And so the only option was for me to work. And I am so thankful for that. I am so thankful that I got pushed into something that I absolutely love doing. But had it not been for those circumstances and for kind of pulling it yourself up by your bootstraps, I would have never had the opportunity and probably would have never taken the chance.
That drive as a kid just kicked in. The entrepreneurial spirit. You're like, well, we got to eat. I got to do something. So what was the idea? What did you decide to do?
So I decided before I got married, I was an academic editor for a book publishing company, and I knew how to do books. So I thought, all right, well, I'll get started on books. And so we started publishing some books for people. And then I found out that I was making more money marketing than I was actually publishing, because the whole market was becoming disintermediated with Amazon.
Yeah.
So
everything's getting digitized.
Everything. And so I was like, well, this is a failing business model, so I'm going to pivot and do mostly marketing. So then I started doing marketing and just trying to get whatever jobs I could.
Yeah.
You know, I knew how to write, so I thought, all right. So I just went out to everyone I knew and I said, hey, can I come work for you? And they would give me little jobs and they'd say, all right, you can write, but can you design? Can you write and design, but can you do websites?
Yes
and
is always the answer to those questions.
You're right. And you know, Richard Branson has a really good story about that. He said when he first got started, always said yes. Yeah. And then he figured out how to do it later. So, you know, people would say this to me. They're like, hey, will you do this? And I'll say, yes, I absolutely will. But I had to go hire someone to help me do it. And so the marketing company grew organically over 15 years. Then I got a client. His name was Ryan Westwood. And I was helping him do some Forbes writing for his platform. And he had just started Simplus. They had just gotten their Series A and he was looking for a head of marketing. And so, you know, he asked me if I would do it. And it took me about 1 second to say absolutely and leave my company behind kind of on ice and really start learning business.
Yeah.
I knew something about entertainment growing up in our family. I knew something about PR. I knew something about marketing agencies. I didn't really know much about how marketing works inside a business. So I came on, learned just an absolute ton. We went from Series A through acquisition to Infosys in 2020, right before COVID hit.
Wow.
Again, 2 months before COVID hit.
You know how to time things.
I
don't
know.
you?
Yeah, exactly right.
You and everybody else.
That's right. And then I did another one with my brother Greg and
Pathology Watch.
Pathology Watch. CEO is Dan Lambert. Dan, he was an AI guru, and he was one of the original AI engineers teaching IBM Watson how to play Jeopardy.
Oh, everyone remembers
right?
that.
Mm-hmm. So Dan had this amazing idea to digitize biopsy slides. Greg had just been on a mission to Honduras and had come back seeing all of these people who had died from cancer because they didn't have the available pathology to be able to diagnose it. So Greg and Dan and another guy named Michael got together with a woman named April. Those are the 4 co-founders of Pathology Watch, and I came on as their CMO. And we took that business from Series A through acquisition to Sonic Healthcare in 2023.
Cool.
And then I did one more with Ryan Wells from 2023 to 2024 called Onboard. And that is in the bulk amenities space. Then Ryan got back in touch and said, I want to do it again. And I was like, okay, I'm in.
Entrepreneurialism is a sickness because it's addictive. Really.
It is.
But that mentality of being driven is in so many people. And you're right there on the front lines.
It's a lot of fun. I kind of alternate between in the mornings waking up going, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this day. And waking up and going, what have I done to my life?
Scared to death.
And both of them are acceptable ways to wake up in the morning. You just got to get going. But overall, it's really, really, really fun.
Good.
And so I sold stage marketing to Amplio, and a new person, Joe Grover, is running it, and he is just incredible, doing an amazing job. And now we're doing Fullcast, which is the go-to-market cloud. That's a long and winding journey. I hope that didn't take too long.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. That's all I got.
And that's it? No, I'm just looking at some of the stuff with Fullcast that you were telling me about as far as being the AI first.
That's right.
Sales performance management.
So now
you see the trend where it's heading.
That's
you're pivoting
right.
that way. Everything is becoming the tech driven. AI is messing with our lives. Is it augmenting our lives? Is it all the above? What's the future of business and just life in general on that side of things?
You know, it's interesting. When the assembly line was first introduced, everyone thought their jobs were going to be gone. When websites came online, everybody thought their jobs were going to be gone. We're kind of in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
AI has happened. AI is an absolute revolution, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
People's jobs are not going to be gone. We're going to find ways to adapt and grow. But it is an important skill set now that everybody needs to be trained on how to use. Makes you increasingly productive. It helps you formulate your framework strategically much better. It can produce images. It can do creative really well. And there are certain areas that it can't work. It cannot do relationships. It's not a person.
The window to the soul is the eyes, to see
Absolutely.
face to face, to connect with a human element.
That's right.
You can't replicate
You
that.
cannot replicate it. And the people who try fail. And to a large extent, marketing has done itself a disservice on the digital side by trying to inauthentically pretend that you're talking to a person when you're not. Our industry is very guilty of this inauthenticity that has turned everybody off to automation.
I just tried to order food for my kids the other day and went through a restaurant. I won't say the name, but I knew immediately that I'm not talking to a human. It sounded just like a human.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Are you AI?" And like, "Yes, I'm AI." I'm like, "Can I please talk to a person? Because this isn't going well." And maybe it will get better. Maybe it'll get more efficient. But there's something that it just doesn't feel like you're connecting in a
Absolutely.
meaningful way.
You cannot replicate the relationships. So the people who are good at relationships, and it's getting harder to do because everyone's on social media and it's harder to get people to develop those face-to-face relationships.
Yeah.
But the people who do develop those will win, because what do people want? People want to be listened to. They want to be cared about. They want to be heard and seen. Humanity has not changed.
Use the tech as a tool to be able to augment that portion of it.
100%. Let AI be your brain. Let AI help
Keep
it
you on task, keep you on track,
Absolutely.
organize. Totally.
But, the emotional intelligence is going to be increasingly important, and those people who have it will absolutely rise to the top. I had the opportunity to MC an AI conference put on by Simon Chan at First Hand Ventures in New York in May, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Everyone who mattered in AI was there, truly. We had Meta, we had Claude, the Anthropic people who have done Claude. We had everyone there, and it was a very small group, and so people were staying to hear each other's presentations because they were so interesting, which
cool.
was wonderful. So we had, maybe 200 people there. What I learned from that conference is, number one, people aren't going anywhere. Number two, the frameworks that are being built for AI are pretty much built. The frameworks are pretty much done. Public data has been pretty much consumed. Yeah. The area for innovation lies mostly in private data now. And so getting past security hurdles, understanding the nuances between what's private data and what can be used by AI is very important. AI ethics are becoming increasingly important.
Sure.
So as we continue to develop our technological capabilities, the people who can fit into those jobs and see ahead of where the market is and see where the puck is going are going to be the winners. And that includes a lot of SaaS companies. Yeah. So you've got to be forward thinking. And here in Utah, we have a very vibrant technology ecosystem. And in order for our ecosystem to stay sound and strong, we all need a collective AI first mentality.
Yep. I think not to be scared of it, not to brush it aside, and not to also embrace and make it your full reliance in to be able to see it as something that is not going away anytime soon, and then be able to utilize it to your advantage, what your goals are effectively. And I think that's what you're doing with Fullcast, and that marketing being the first to market that way is going to be huge for you. So early congratulations on all of that. With all the new acquisitions you're doing and endeavors. With our time remaining for our audience, being in an executive position, running companies, also being the executive of your family, being mom, managing work life, and just being in that position now. Any tricks to the trade? Any advice for our audience, those that may be feeling overwhelmed, those that have goals that are feeling driven or maybe not feeling driven? There's the power of yes, all these little things that you've learned over your career. What advice do you have for our audience that want to either get something started or are just feeling like maybe a roadblock?
Oh, absolutely. The first thing is, analysis paralysis is a real thing, and I think it affects more people than we think. A lot of people have fear of just getting started and throwing some spaghetti on the wall. So that would be my first piece of advice. I remember when I first started the business, now looking back on it, it seems linear, and that's not really how it is. I tried 10 different things that didn't work. I tried 10 different things that didn't make money. I had terrible outcomes for clients and had to comp all of the business for free because what we did didn't work. There are a lot of failures that come with a lot of successes, and you have to just take everything as a learning opportunity, truly. I remember the first book publication we did. I was trying to save some money, and I had the books come from China, and they were from a reputable company, and we got the books there, and because of the paper differences and the glue that was used, the bindings fell apart as soon as they got there from China.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I sat down on the bed.
It reflects on you,
it
your clients.
reflects on me, it reflects on my client, and it was my first project.
Oh, shit.
And so I sat down on the bed, and I literally bawled my eyes out. And I was like, I'm not cut out for this. I can't do this. I failed my first time I tried anything. And then I thought, well, what are my options? I have no other option except to replace the books and keep going because kids got to eat. There's nothing like having kids need money, food on the table, and to be provided for that makes you innovative and determined. So, that would be my first piece of advice would be don't let analysis paralysis get you. It doesn't have to be perfect idea. It doesn't have to be the perfect execution. Just keep going. Just keep going.
But if there is failure, fail fast.
Correct. And pivot quickly. Pivot quickly.
Be honest with yourself and have clarity and also a board of directors that you can trust. People,
100%.
Friends, close people that can give you honest feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One of the reasons that Ryan, our CEO, my co-founder, likes working with me is because I'll tell him the truth. I'll tell him the other day, he told me that sometimes I made his head spin because I told him the exact truth. That is what you need from people. You need someone to tell you the truth and support you at the same time. And believe in you at the same time.
Well, no one will tell you the truth more than family. So I promise you that I'll always give you my
I know you will,
truth.
Dave, and I love that
about you. And I
appreciate
you being my family member and cousin and inspiration. You do so much. Last thing on that note, on the inspiration thing, and I'll end on this. Being a female in an executive role, the world has changed a ton for the better in that realm in so many ways. But you've seen the good and the bad and the ugly on angles that I have not. Anything that you can say from your perspective as far as being a running companies, running management teams, running sales teams, running just in a business sense as female. How has the world changed that way?
Very, very good question. Being a woman in business, there's never been a better time to be a woman, and there's never been a better time to be a woman in business. The beliefs that I have that have worked well for me are, number one, most men want women to succeed. Don't go into business thinking that life's going to be so hard for you and that everyone's your enemy, because you will make enemies if that's your perspective. And it's true. I believe that most men really want women to succeed. Also, expect additional resistance because there is an unconscious bias still there, and that is what it is. And so just expect that it's going to happen. I believe for myself that I have to be better than I would otherwise have to be if I were a man. And so I just will be better than I have to be. And that is something that I just accept as a reality, and it drives me.
It's not fair.
It's not fair, but I believe it's a reality right now. And so just need to address it and move on. And then you're awesome.
Well, we need examples to be those glass ceiling breakers to push through, and you're one of those. You're at the top of the list, and you're making strides for so many people looking at you. So we wish you huge success on all of your endeavors as an executive in business and also in the family as you're leading your family as mom and also just in life in general. You're living your best life. Keep doing it because there's a lot of people cheering you on and inspiring a lot of people. And I'm so grateful you sat down with us today. Thank you very much.
I am so grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Dave.
You're welcome. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Fresh off the set. We love you guys. We're so grateful. If you have any questions about anything that Amy Osmond Cook is doing, where can we follow you?
Would love to reach out to anyone on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. I'm also very active on Instagram. And if you want to learn more about our business, it's fullcast.com.
That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Amy. And we will see you guys next time for Fresh Off the Set.
Thank you.
Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.